Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today. All right, so I have two targets that I'm looking at next. If we can go to the upside, we don't know for sure that we're going to go to the upside, but if we do, then these are the next spots that I'm looking at going to the upside. If we have to break this resistance to start even thinking about these targets, and it's also possible that we break the resistance and going down. I mean, we don't know yet whether we've broken to the upside or to the downside before I give you these targets. But what I'm looking at are a triangle pattern. Whoops, not that. What I'm looking at is a triangle pattern and a falling wedge pattern. Let me see. I just kind of messed everything up. Basically, we had a big run to the upside, and then we're getting consolidation right now, hopefully, and then we break that resistance. This kind of looks like a bull flag, in my opinion, or at least like yeah, pretty much, or pennant pattern, should I say. We have resistance, support. No, I don't know. It kind of went up right here, but basically we are in this resistance and we are in this support. Once we break to the upside or to the downside, then we'll know a little bit more. We're also looking at, and this is why I kind of look at the top and the bottom when I'm looking at when we break trends. We had support, giving me an uptrend, something like this. We broke the uptrend right here, kind of going sideways. We went down, but we didn't really. I mean, we've been kind of just chilling in this area right here. So what I do in that, once we break the trend, then we watch the top, and then we watch the bottom as well. Actually, we could probably even do a horizontal line as well, but something like that. If we break the top, then we can get more confident on the next targets, or if it breaks to the bottom, then we have to start looking for support, maybe looking at Fibonacci retracements, stuff like that. Okay, so back to the targets. If we looks like we have a flag pattern, also could be a triangle pattern. If we drag from the bottom and the top of the triangle, something like this, that gives us that first target of around 0.48107. Well, this isn't really, like I said, we haven't broken out yet, and this trend line is moving to the downside. So this target can go. I mean, if it goes, like, let's say it broke up right here, then that would be a bigger target. But if it goes down, so it's not going to be perfect until we actually break out. Then we'll have a place to actually put these targets, potential targets. But I'm looking at around 0.48107 being conservative. But like I was saying, it also kind of looks like a bull flag. And in a bull flag situation where we have a big run up and then consolidation, and then we break to the upside, we could drag from the bottom of the pole, the top of the pole, to the bottom of the pole. I'm doing something like that. I'm just kind of looking at this line right here and kind of lining it up with something like that. You could probably argue a few different ways, but something like that. And then take that to the potential breakout. Let's say it does it over here. Maybe it takes a little bit more time. We're looking at a target of approximately 0.63392. So yeah, I'll have to keep my eye on what's going on. I know I said I was thinking about maybe taking profits in this area, but if we break out of here, I want to see what happens when we get up here. If we continue to move up, then I'm gonna probably hold off. Maybe I'll come over here. But I was also looking at, if we zoom out and look at the bigger picture, we're getting, I mean, if we move up here, we're going to be really close to the top. And we kind of just saw what happens when we break the tops, or when we broke that big top right there. It was just off to the races. If we could actually break this top right here, I'm not even sure where to look for next. I guess we could do that Fibonacci in reverse thing, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Let's see. Let's go back to the 4-hour time frame. So I think that's the main thing that I'm watching right now is this flag pattern. It could be potentially a good pattern. 0.633 or 0.481. I mean, that's, like I said, it's not perfect, but around those areas, and then you kind of see how I target it once it does break out. Then you can kind of do it on your own chart on tradingview.com. That's what I'm looking at on this right now. So if you're new to trading or whatever, go to tradingview.com, sign up for an account. It's free. Start a watch list. You click the plus button, find Dogecoin or Bitcoin or whatever, and then get you started. That's just a quick little thing. But we're watching this resistance, this support. Let's see if we could break that going to the upside. Then we can start looking at these targets. Let's take a look at some other charts right now, though. Let's look at Doge to Bitcoin. And this one looks kind of interesting. I mean, it looks very similar where we had a big run up and then consolidation. And then if we break to the upside, it looks like it's going to be another flag pattern. I think that's where I got this line from. Let me see, something like this. Yeah. So if we drag that to the breakout, let's say it broke back to the upside, then it'd be lining up with that next previous resistance that I was talking about, or I've been talking about, because we're kind of breaking all these resistances that we've been watching in my videos for the past couple weeks. Right now, actually, we are testing this one. We haven't broken through on this one. If we can break through on this one, I was saying maybe we can come up to the next one. And like I was just saying, this looks like a nice little run up, consolidation. If we could break to the upside, then that's going to be really good. It looks like a nice pattern, but we do still have to break out to the upside, and it does look like it's testing going to the downside right now, which, you know, it's not, yeah, that probably wouldn't be great, because a lot of Dogecoin money, if this chart's going down, then Dogecoin money is basically going into Bitcoin. But I don't know. It probably could affect this chart, but we'd have to find out. It might be just because Bitcoin might be running up, though. So I don't know. But yeah, it's still something to look at. I mean, if we can break out going to the upside, that just means that Bitcoin money is going into Dogecoin money. And that's why we're watching this chart, because if this chart's going up, Dogecoin, it's good for Dogecoin. And if this chart is going down, then it's good for Bitcoin. You want to be in either one whenever it's in. Like I said, if it's going up, you want to be in Dogecoin, and if it's going down, you want to be in Bitcoin. It looks like it might be testing that support that I'm looking at, though. So let's see. Are we going to have a big flag pattern going back to the upside, or are we going to break to the downside and start having a look at previous resistances that might be support now, something like that or whatever. But and these are, like I was saying, if we zoom out, go to the daily time frame, these are the resistances, the previous resistances that I was looking at before. Basically, we're looking at a possible good pattern on Dogecoin to Bitcoin as well. Let's see if it can do the same thing. If we can, then we have a lot of room to go up, which will be very good for Dogecoin if we continue to move up. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick and see what's going on here, because we know that if Bitcoin's doing good, usually everything else is doing pretty decent too. Let me delete everything. Like these straight candles going to the upside and zooming out kind of makes everything. So what I'm looking at on Bitcoin is a target of around 124,000 still. We're looking at a cup and handle. So we have this cup, we have this handle, basically a cup and a channel pattern after that cup. So we have something like that. We were bouncing in between these trend lines. We had resistance, support, giving me these two trend lines. Once you break that channel, then you can target from the top to the bottom. I mean, the top to the bottom of this cup. First we draw the cup line, and then we'll draw from the top to the bottom of the cup. Excuse me. And then there's that channel pattern. Once we break that channel pattern, then we can drag from the top to the bottom of that cup, drag that to the breakout, and that's what gives me that target. This one looks a little bit lower, though. Let's see. I've been looking at around 120 to 124. It really just depends on where you drag from the bottom of the top of the cup. And that's basically it, because there's like lower spots and higher spots. I don't know, but yeah, somewhere around there. I'm still looking at that target. It looks like we're still heading up, so let's see if we can go all the way to 124. That'd be pretty crazy, at least for now. Like I've been saying, I think the best strategy with Bitcoin is just putting in a little bit every paycheck or whatever, and kind of like a 401k or something, just and then pull it out when you're like older, or with time, should I say. So that's kind of my strategy anyways. Let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Okay, so if this chart is going up, then Bitcoin is the most dominant coin, or it's a Bitcoin season. If it's going down, basically, we want to wait. We want to watch for when it goes down, because then the altcoins will do better, aka Dogecoin and or whatever else you're watching. If you're a Bitcoin holder, like, I mean, I am a Bitcoin holder, by the way. Mostly Bitcoin, but if this chart's going up, then that's good for Bitcoin. So that's good either way. But we mostly talk about Dogecoin, so if it goes down, then that would be good for Dogecoin. Right now it's going up. It's not necessarily bad for Dogecoin. It's just, like I was saying in the last, when we were talking about Bitcoin, if Bitcoin's going up, then mostly everything's going to probably follow it. So I think that's about it. We could look at Ethereum real quick. I know I've been talking about Ethereum and looking at it. Let's see what it's doing right now. We have resistance, support. Kind of looks like a triangle, or maybe even, let's see, something like that. I mean, it almost looks like a pennant pattern as well, where it had this big run up and then it has to break to the upside, though. If it breaks to the downside here, that almost looks like a head and shoulders pattern, though, doesn't it? Let's see. Go like this. So we came up, came down, came up, down, up, down. We're actually bouncing one more time, but kind of looks like a head and shoulders pattern. If we break this bottom right here, going to the downside, that could be a reversal on Ethereum. Let me see. We drag from the bottom of the top of that in a head and shoulders pattern. We drag from the top of the head to the bottom of the shoulders, something like that. If this was a head and shoulders, let's say, it has to break to the downside to confirm that. But if it was, then we'd be dragging this to the downside, something like that, and that'd be a target of around 2,842. Let's see. So yeah, like I was saying, though, we haven't broken to the downside quite yet, and it could be a potential pennant pattern. We have this big run up and then consolidation. If we break to the upside, that could be good. So let's see what happens on Ethereum. We're watching that support right there, and then we have that resistance. If we could break out one way or another, then we have more of an idea of what's going to happen. But yeah, that kind of about does it. Let's go back to Dogecoin real quick, and let me see. Yeah, we're still watching this potential flag pattern. That's what I'm hoping it is. Same thing like we were just talking about, though. If we break the resistance or the support line right there, going to the downside, then we might have to be looking at support. But like I was also talking about before in my other videos, like how this was like a little planet, and then hopefully we can come into this other one with these other previous resistances, something like that. So maybe we can just chill in this area instead of having to go back all the way down, even if we do start seeing a little cool off or some potential downside. And then the bottom, so let's zoom out a little bit again, because I'm glad I still have these. Okay, so the first one was around .302. The second one was around .349. So maybe those could be potential. There were previous resistances where we came into, whoops, that's not the right tool. Where we came up, it acted as resistance. Actually, let's go to the first one. It acted as resistance, and then we came down, and then, hit this one, came down as well. So these were previous resistances. When we zoom out over here, sorry. These are the previous resistances that I'm looking at over here. Resistance. Those are those two levels. Basically, the previous resistances, maybe they will flip to support now. So when we go down to those levels, maybe we can bounce on them and they can turn into support as opposed to being resistance. Maybe once you cross above it, then support. Same with the moving averages. I talk about the moving averages a lot on this channel. I like watching the 9 moving average and the 180 moving average. basically we're just killing it on those right now. It's like not even, I mean, if we look at the 9 moving average right here, ever since we broke above it, we've been just getting support on it. We're actually we kind of test into it. We kind of break through it a little bit, but we've been getting support on it and bouncing to the upside. On the weekly, it looks pretty amazing actually, because you can see right here where we broke below it, we got resistance, resistance, resistance. Once we broke above it, that's when we really started to fly. And then we also broke above the 180 moving average on that chart too. Let's see, something like this. Here's the 180 moving average. We broke below that, and then right here is where we broke above the 180 and the 9 moving average. Boom. So that's when it really started taking off as well. Basically, basically when we're on top of it, support, but if we break through it going to the downside, then it can start acting as resistance every time we try to touch it. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But the same kind of thing goes back to the previous supports and previous resistances. Let's go ahead and go to the daily time frame. Is that those .3042 and .349, they could be potentially, when we come down, spots that we might want to look at as support going to the upside if we do go down. I'm kind of hoping that this is a flag pattern and we're going to go to the upside though. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Still kind of yeah, just watching and waiting. All right, let me know what you guys are thinking. Getting super close to 10K subscribers. Thank you for everyone subscribing. And if you're not subscribed, hit the subscribe button if you like the video. And if you want to check out the last video, check it out right here. If you're new to trading, check out this playlist. If you guys like the video, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.